Hello and welcome back to Lorcana Villain. My name is Baker, and today we're going to be taking a look at a bunch of deck lists from the SCG Con event in Cincinnati over the weekend just gone. There were two tournaments, one held on Saturday, one on Sunday. The Saturday one was a 2K, the Sunday one was a 1K. My information today comes from inkdecks.com, and as you can see here, there's only 7 of the top 8 deck lists listed that I've been able to find, so I'll only be showing 7 lists. Also, from my understanding, top 4 did a prize split. I say from my understanding just based on looking on this website here. If anyone was there or knows better and wants to correct me in the comments, please do, and I'll pin it and I'll have a word with myself. But yeah, we've got 7 deck lists from the 2K event on the Saturday with the top 4 deciding to do a prize split. And then on the Sunday, for the 1K, there's only 3 decks that are actually listed. So technically I've got 10 deck lists to show you today. A couple of Ruby Amethysts, but there are some other things to look at. So let's get straight on and take a look at the lists. So starting off with the 2K event on the Saturday, we'll do the Ruby Amethyst Control stuff first. So in top 4, we've got Michael with some Ruby Amethyst Spellbook Control. Just as a note, because I've had a couple of people ask me why I feel the need to always explain what every card does. And my intention is for a newcomer, brand new to the game, to be able to come onto my channel and still be able to follow along and know what everything does. Of course, there's always timestamps in the description if you want to skip through to different deck lists, or if I'm explaining things that you don't need explained to you. But that's why I will always make an effort of trying to at least explain things through at least once every time we look at that card in a set of deck lists. So yes, Michael, top 4 with some Ruby Amethyst Spellbook Control. So we've got 6 1-drops, 4 minis, and 2 Olafs for a turn 1 drop. To assist us on getting down our Madam Mim Snake on turn 2. We've got no other 2 drops, and also our Madam Mim Fox on turn 4. In that vein, we've also got 2 copies of Merlin Crab, which can help boost can boost anything, but specifically our 1-drops are normally the early target, to get the 1-drop down nice and early and then turn it into a 4/3 courtesy of Merlin Crab. We've got 4 copies of the Goat and 4 copies of the Rabbit. Alongside, we've also got 4 copies of Maleficent for some extra card draw, 3 copies of that Stylish Surfer mini with her 1/3 stat line quest for 2. Really annoying. It demands an answer. It demands either a Fidget, a Jetsam, a Pascal plus Crab combo, or just a hard removal, or Teeth and Ambitions with another 1 damage somewhere. Maybe you challenge their mini Stylish Surfer with your mini Stylish Surfer, and you'd get the other 2 damage on their mini via your Teeth and Ambitions, and you could put the 2 damage on your own mini, and then you're basically going 1 for 1, but in a perfect world you would put the 2 damage on one of your 1-drops. So yeah, mini very, very strong. We've got 4 copies of Maui for one of the most powerful cards in the game. Nice rush answer to immediate problems on the board. 2 copies of Yzma to either bounce problems off of their opponent's board, or to even use it in conjunction with our own characters just to benefit from the 2 cards that you get to draw when you do so, and obviously works really well with our bounce sort of stuff like Rabbit and Goat. 3 copies of Lady Tremaine for some force removal, getting around that ward ability. In a perfect world, we challenge into their characters that are easier to deal with and leave them with only 1 target remaining so that Tremaine can come down and send them to the discard pile. 2 copies of Elsa, raising in her popularity in Ruby Amethyst lists, was always strong, especially in Ruby Amethyst mirrors, where quite often by the time you get to turn 8, quite often you could be neck and neck, and sometimes just this slows them down enough for you to pull ahead. We've got 4 copies of Maleficent, also commonly being seen only as a 2 or 3 count, but just as much we're seeing the full count, because if you do get to that part of the game, she's an incredibly powerful card. 2 copies of Dragon's Fire, which I really like, an answer to minis if you've not got anything else to deal with it, or to get rid of Arthurs, to get rid of Ariels, all that sort of stuff. Basically meaning that you can deal with problem characters without having to resort to your turn 7 be prepared, where you might not be getting a lot of value from it. So I really like Dragon's Fires. Teeth and Ambitions, as I mentioned earlier, really good for getting chip damage on everything, great against aggro, good against a lot of stuff that Steel Amber Songs wants to put down in the first few turns. So very nice. 4 copies of Friends on the other side for that additional draw. 4 Be Prepared for that board wipe, and 2 Sorcerer's Spellbook. So yeah, a tried and tested list. We see no Ursula in here, but the Elsas and the Dragon, yeah, this looks really good. I don't need to explain to you why these cards are all here. So yeah, congratulations, Michael, on a top 4 finish. Next up in top 4 with Ruby Amethyst, we've got Barrett, who is playing 6 1-drops. We see the same count of Snake, Fox, Crab, Merlin, Goat, and only 2 Rabbit in here, which is kind of interesting. I think 3 is fine, but I still think at least 3. Yes, you have a lot of draw cards like Maleficent and Friends, but Rabbit's so good. I think I'm okay with 3. I think that's enough, but 2 to me seems low, but led Barrett to the top 4, so listen to the data, Baker. 3 copies of Maui, 3 copies of Yzma, 3 Lady Tremaine. We do see the 2 Ursula here for that lore denial. Nice and big willpower, nice bulky willpower. That 8 really makes it hard to deal with without hard removal. Of course, the lore denial, as I said, and getting to draw an extra card is always good. And questing for 3 is fantastic. She was in regular high counts in the top 8 deck lists for the 288-person Pixelborn tournament that took place just a couple of days ago. So yeah, expect to see her more and more. 2 Elsa once again. We're all in on the Maleficent, all in on the Teeth and Ambitions here at a 4 count, 4 Friends, 4 Be Prepared, and just 1 Sorcerer's Spellbook. So yeah, tried and tested list, looks good. Congratulations to Barrett. Next up in top 4 with Ruby Amethyst, we have Chad, who will come up again looking through this list, because Chad also did very well in the 1K event that took place on the Sunday. So we will be looking at Chad's another one of Chad's lists soon. But yes, on the Saturday, they decided to place a Ruby Amethyst Control. We're all in on the 1-drops, 4 Olaf, 4 Mini, which I love to see. Full count of Madam Mim Snake, Fox, 2 Crab again. We've got 4 Goat and 4 Rabbit. All in on the Stylish Surfer, 3 Maleficent, 4 Maui, 4 Tremaine, 3 Ursula, all in on the Maleficent, 4 Teeth and Ambitions, 4 Friends, and 4 Be Prepared. So nice high counts of everything. Only 2 Crab is fine, 3 Ursula sounds good to me, and only 3 Maleficent is fine. We're running the full count of Merlin, and we've got the Friends on the other side, and Ursula gives us some extra draw. A lot of the time on turn 3, we're playing Madam Mim Fox anyway to respond to the opposing board, so I think 3 Maleficent is always fine. But yeah, congratulations to Chad, and we will look at another one of your lists very soon. There's one more top 4 list to look at, but we'll go to the top 8 to finish off the Ruby Amethyst lists. So top 8, we've got Zach, who decided to run Shadow Control, a way of building a Ruby Amethyst that is growing with popularity. We're all in with 8 1-drops. We've got the max count of Snake, Fox, 2 Crab, 4 Rabbit, and 4 Goat. They're all in on the Stylish Surfer. We see the 4 Maleficent here, and we see the Peter Pan Shadow, which is really good in this meta, especially in the mirror match. Being able to turn all of our rush characters, to add evasive to our rush characters. So we've got Maui and Madam Mim Fox that will benefit from this, but we're also running a 2 count of Rafiki, which again, great for dealing with the Stylish Surfer Mini or just any evasive we come across. Rafiki's good anyway, especially if you're against aggro decks or anything running Simba. 3 is a really important number to hit, and yeah, Peter Pan Shadow making Rafiki even more annoying and versatile. 3 is the most copies I think we've seen of Peter Pan Shadow in these decks. Normally it's 1 or 2 just as like slightly tech, but a little bit more commitment to the Shadow in this list, really respecting how good evasives can be. 4 Maui, only 2 Tremaine. We see the 3 Ursula, lower count of Maleficent here at a 2 Teeth and Ambitions, 4 Friends, only 3 Be Prepared, and 1 Sorcerer's Spellbook. I mean, this is technically fine. I'm not a big fan of running less than the 4 Be Prepared, but we've seen it do well before, so yeah, clearly it's fine. And again, we've got the 2 Maleficent. We're just more early heavy. Like early to mid-game heavy, really. Like, you're going to be really aggressive at the beginning. We don't see any other 2-drops here, no Kuzco or anything like that. But yeah, the Peter Pan Shadow clearly putting in a lot of work, so congratulations to Zach. Going back to our top 4 now, we have Daniel, who was running Steel Amethyst Bodyguard Bounce, which looks a lot of fun. Nice to see a slightly different looking list. So we're very aggro. We've got 4 copies of Maleficent Biding Her Time, questing for 2, a great 1-drop to work with our bounce-related stuff. We've also got the 4 Pascal and 2 copies of Captain Hook, so we can either be more aggressive or in terms of like being able to challenge for that 3-2 stat line with Challenger 2, or we can just be more aggressive in our questing. So you'll have to see it. We've also got 4 copies of Star Attraction Pinocchio going towards our aggro build, and of course 4 copies of Snake, 4 copies of Fox, 4 Goat, and 4 Rabbit. We also see the 4 Arthur in here contributing to just the aggro deck that we want to be. So we're very we want to win the game before they even get to be prepared, really, and it can be done. We also see 4 copies of Jafar Royal Vizier, again strictly as an answer to Stylish Surfer Mini. Again, I keep doing this. Any evasive that's going to help against, but Stylish Surfer Mini is the most prominent character that is big in the meta, which Jafar is a great answer to. So you love to see it. We've also got 4 copies of the Huntsman, who I'm a big fan of. 2 cost inkable, 1/1 stat line, quest for 2. And whenever this character quests, you may draw a card, then choose and discard it. So slightly different from, for an example, Cinderella Knight in Training or the Simba, who their ability to look at the top card, draw a card, and then discard a card happens immediately. This one's built into questing. So obviously the downside is there's a chance you don't ever get this off if like you put down the Huntsman and they deal with him immediately with fire the cannons or something like that, some sort of chip damage card, then there's a possibility that you don't get this ability off at all. But the other side of the coin is there's a chance that you can get it off multiple times, especially with our Bodyguarders here, and questing for 2 is big, so I really like this. We talked about the Fox, we've got the 4 Maleficent for some extra draw, and then some more Bodyguarders. We've got Hercules True Hero, who has the Bodyguard ability and a 3/3 stat line, so protecting our aggro characters such as our Arthurs, our Pinocchios, the Huntsman, as I just said. Love it, love it, love it. We've also got 4 copies of the Prince, who is the same as Hercules, but only a 1/3 stat line. Quest for 2, but he also has Resist 1. Really strong in a meta that does still have a lot of steal, lots of grab your swords, lots of smash, lots of fire the cannons, all that sort of, and Tinkerbell, which will be completely nullified. So yeah, the Resist 1 definitely putting in some work. I'm a big fan of the Prince. Goat and Rabbit, as I said. 2 copies of Donald Duck Musketeer, with the 2/5 stat line and Bodyguard, 4 cost inkable. Stay Alert is not going to be relevant because we're not running any other Musketeers. But yeah, just another Bodyguarder to put down next to our aggressive characters. So we don't even need to always be returning them to our hand to keep them safe. If we've got enough Bodyguarders, then that'll do the job. So really cool, fun list to look at. And of course, 4 copies of Yzma for some panic removal or to work in conjunction with our bounce stuff, draw us some extra cards. So yeah, really fun looking list. I'd like to try this one myself. Yeah, it looks good and led Daniel to a top 4 finish in a large field. So congratulations to Daniel. Going back into top 8, we've got another Steel Amethyst list. This one piloted by Adam. I've called this one Floodborn Control because we are running 4 copies of the Blue Fairy, rewarding good deeds. 2 cost inkable, 1/1 stat line, evasive, which in itself can be annoying if they don't have answers for it, and the ability Ethereal Glow. Whenever you play a Floodborn character, you may draw a card. So our Floodborn characters in this list, we've got the Jafar Dreadnought, the Beast Tragic Hero, Yzma Scary Beyond All Reason, Giant Fairy Tinkerbell, and Spirit of Winter Elsa. So lots of cards to work with our Blue Fairy. She's getting more and more popular, and I can see why. Yeah, I really like it. Let's go through the rest of the cards. We've got the 3 copies of Royal Vizier, again as another evasive answer, but also an easier way to play our Dreadnought Jafar, who, on top of being a Floodborn to support the Blue Fairy and let's draw some cards, he can draw cards all on his own with the Now Where Were We ability. If you're able to banish a character in a challenge, you may draw a card, and Shift 2 is really strong. You could get him down by turn 3, and he can really catch people off guard because not many people are playing this as a whole package. You see Dreadnought in the Bucky deck, and seeing Jafar in a few decks just to be an answer to Mini is not completely unexpected, but there's not a lot of lists that are running this as a whole package, so you can really annoy some people and like catch them by surprise. So love it, love it, love it. Beast Tragic Hero obviously here for some accelerated draw and can be a nice big bulky 7/5 stat line if he's damaged, but really we want to be drawing the extra cards. 4 copies of Yzma for the reasons I've already stated. 4 Tinkerbell for that spread ping damage as soon as she enters the field, and for the Puny Pirate putting 2 damage on any character when she banishes a different character. 3 copies of Elsa. Again, we've talked about her, really strong, just slowing down the opponent. She quests big, she's got a lovely stat line, and again, just another Floodborn to work with the Blue Fairy. 3 copies of Smash, which I keep saying I think is so important. Lots of characters that are really important to remove immediately, like Ariels and Arthurs, things like that. 3 is an important number to hit, and being able to know that you can immediately remove some of those things is important. 4 friends on the other side, and 4 grab your swords for some extra board control. So yeah, a really fun looking list. Really liking the look of this Blue Fairy the more I see her, and yeah, keen to try this list as well. So congratulations to Adam. And our final list from the top 8 of the Saturday 2K event, Steel Amethyst Control. We've got 4 copies of Captain Hook, Forceful Duelist, as we get like just a really strong 1-drop, and being able to hit for 3, we've said many times, is really important for dealing with a lot of cards in the meta. 2 copies of Tiana, so we've also got the option to go a more defensive 1-drop. 4 copies of Snake, 4 Fox, 3 Goat, only 3 Goat. I don't know. but okay. 4 copies of Rabbit. We see the 4 Prince Eric as well, just like Captain Hook. He can go to that 3/3 stat line, and being a 3 cost himself, a 3 willpower character himself, he gets around things like Strength of Let the Storm Rage On. I keep accidentally calling it Strength of a Raging Fire. That song's just in my head. Be a man. Yeah, gets around the Storm Rage On and Teeth and Ambitions, which both do 2 damage. So that 3 willpower keeps him out of that range, and again, being able to hit that 3 number is really important. 3 Maleficent for some extra draw. We've got 2 Benja here for some item removal, getting rid of those flutes, those spell books, those lanterns, things like that. 2 copies of Tiny Tactician as an option to shift our larger giant fairy Tinkerbell on top of, which I think is really strong. 4 Beasts for the extra draw. Yzma for removal or sending back our own characters to get some extra draw ourselves and trigger our bounce mechanics. 3 Elsa, 2 Smash, 4 Friends on the other side. There's the Let the Storm Rage On. We've got a few characters that can sing this, letting us draw a card when we play it, and strong card. 2 copies of Strength of a Raging Fire and 4 Grab Your Sword. So yeah, deck looks really good, so congratulations to this person. Now moving on to the 1K event that took place on the Sunday. Again, we've only got 3 deck lists to look at here. And in inkdecks.com, they've got them noted as first, second and top 4. But there was someone in my comments section who is actually one of these lists who informed me that top 8 actually did an entire split. They just did a complete prize share, and then there was just like a friendly game between 2 of the competitors to see who got to be the champion in the photo that was taken for the website. But from my understanding, it was a complete, they didn't play out the top 8 and it was a prize share. If my information is inaccurate concerning placements, then I apologize, and if someone puts me right, then I will make a pin comment to confirm that. But the list should all be accurate, which is what I'm sure most of you are interested in seeing. So we'll start off with Chad, who, again, we looked at one of Chad's lists in the top 8 for the 2K event the day before. Topping 2 events in a row, both of which had a large pool, is really impressive. So Chad, clearly a very good player, and swapped from Ruby Amethyst to Amber Ruby Mufasa RIP. So really respect that, being able to pick up a completely different deck and pilot that to a top 8 finish, like twice in a row, basically 2 top 8 finishes in a row. And yeah, I don't know if that was a matter of just they wanted to switch it up. Maybe they were bored of the Ruby Amethyst and they just wanted a bit of a change. Maybe it was a meta call based on what they thought they were going to see the most that day. Chad, if you're watching, let me know in comments, please, buddy. I would love to know what was behind your decision. Maybe it was just you wanted to switch it up, which is perfectly reasonable to me. But yeah, Mufasa RIP, which is one of my favourite decks. This list looks pretty identical to my original list. There's no Scar in here, but let's go through. We've got the 4/4 line of Stitch and Rockstar Stitch. Stitch being a 1-drop and the Rockstar being a nice aggressive 3 lore quester, 3/5 stat line, and the Adoring Fans, meaning that we can draw a card. If we put down a 1 or 2 drop, we can exert it to immediately draw a card, so you love to see it. We see a 4/4 line of the Queen, nice and aggressive. Questing for 2 is pretty good, and letting us manipulate the strength of onboard characters to have a bit more control over challenging. 4 copies of Simba to protect our characters that we care about, and of course to be an Adoring Fan. Mother Gothel is also an Adoring Fan. She works perfectly in conjunction with Rapunzel to get an assured 3-card draw, which you'd love to see. Queen of Hearts at a 2 count is the common count of Queen of Hearts, more for aggro than anything else. Don't get me wrong, there can be other situations where she's useful. If big characters have only got 2 left, obviously she's going to do the job. But yeah, a really nice early response to aggro if you don't have a good early board yourself, like a 1-drop to put down or something. So you love to see it. 3 copies of Doc to reduce character costs and quests quite big. We've also got the Lanterns to reduce character costs, which is one of the things that really makes this deck tick. 4 copies of Stylish Surfer Mini to be really annoying. Rapunzel, as we said, for the card draw. We've got Mufasa, who is the bread and butter that makes the whole deck work. When this character is banished, you may reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a character card, you may play that character for free. They enter play exerted. So lots of really good targets here. Our big strong characters, and again, just being able to replace yourself on the board is always just pretty strong. Sometimes they're going to be able to then immediately challenge into that character with something else, which can suck if you hit something like Baby Stitch or the Queen of Hearts, but it's better than nothing, and the deck's built in such a way that you should be hitting like more valuable pieces more often than not. Like, in my opinion, anything from Doc on that you hit, other than Lantern, is fair game and a pretty good hit, so you love to see it. We talked about the Queen, 4 Maui to deal with immediate problems, and another good target for Mufasa to immediately put on the board. We've talked about Stitch, Lady Tremaine for that removal, 4 copies of Carefree Surfer Stitch, which I think is really important in this deck. It doesn't have a lot of draw. Rockstar, the Adoring Fans is good to have, but it's not a reliable refreshing of your resources, so we really need more. We need Rapunzel and we need Surfer Stitch, so I think these are absolutely pivotal to run out of 4 count. 4 copies of Maleficent, which I really like to see. It maximizes our odds of hitting them with Mufasa, and it's really not unrealistic to be able to play your Maleficent on turns 6, 7, or 8 if you've got Dock and or Lanterns out on the board, and of course the free Lantern, as I said. So yeah, one of my favorite decks at the moment, and clearly a very good player is Chad, to have piloted 2 different decks, 2 top 8 finishes, 2 days in a row against quite big fields. So massive congratulations to Chad. Next up, we've got Luke, who was running Steel Ameth Control. We've got only 4 1-drops in here, but we see the 4 Snake, the 4 Fox, the 4 Goat, and the 4 Rabbit. 3 Maleficent for that draw. Prince Eric here at a 4 count as well. Like I said, really important to be able to hit that 3 number. And again, with that 3 willpower himself, he survives quite a lot. Benja to be able to respond to opposing items. 3 copies of Tinkerbell to be able to shift our Giant Fairy onto. 4 Beasts for the draw. 3 Yzma for, I think Yzma's like one of the most diverse cards in the game, being able to remove threats or just return one of your own characters to draw some cards. And if you're returning a bounce character, then you're benefiting from sending back things like Goat or Rabbit, so you'd have to see it. 4 Giant Fairy Tink. We see the 2 Power Hungry Ursula, 2 Elsa, 3 Smash, 4 Friends on the other side, 3 Let the Storm Rage On, and 3 Grab Your Sword. So another really strong looking Amethyst Steel Control deck, which is growing in popularity, so you'd love to see it. Congratulations to Luke. And finally, we have David, who is the person that let me know in my comment section that the top 8 did a prize split. So many thanks to you, David, for that information, and well done on your run. So yeah, we've got Steel Amethyst Fairy Control here. Pretty much the same as the list we looked at before. We do see 2 Merlin Crab in here, which obviously is good to work with our 1-drops, but we are also seeing the Blue Fairy at a 2 count in this list. Talked about it earlier, really strong to be able to draw some additional cards whenever we put down our Floodborn characters. Being evasive, if the Blue Fairy sticks around for a couple of turns, then you could draw quite a lot off of Blue Fairy. So yeah, I'm really keen to try this Blue Fairy. Another one of my more underrated cards when I first looked through this set. So you love to see it. But yeah, we've discussed the rest of these cards, so I won't go through all of them again. But list looks really strong. And massive congratulations to David. And thank you once again for your information. And that is it for the top 10 deck lists for 2 days worth of events in Cincinnati. But yeah, massive congratulations to all of our finalists. I don't think I said this at the beginning, but I probably would have put, when I'm editing, I'll put a little text note that the Saturday event had 95 players and the Sunday event had 62, which are very respectable fields. So massive respect to Chad for top 8ing twice in a row. Really, like, a player to watch out for, clearly. But yeah, massive congratulations to all the players. And that's going to be it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe for all things Lorcana. Hit the like button to show your support, and we'll see you soon.